Hello, Fantasy Sports Wizard here, and welcome to episode 18 of the Quest. And today we are getting started by opening up our weekly packs. And in the first pack, we get a double lone player from Team of the Week, and it's the Egyptian Messi. That card looks amazing. So much so, I'm considering shelling out some of my hard-earned coins and picking him up because I'm sure his price is going to absolutely skyrocket, so he could be a worthwhile investment. And then in the second pack, we get Porto's Herrera. So a nice Liga NOS player there that will fit into the squad builder challenges alongside a few other players that we'll just use for filling out the club and the future squad builder challenges. And we're just going to send all this to the club. We'll deal with all the garbage later, and then these guys will just place on the transfer list whether we use them in an upgrade or they're required for another challenge. And then in the second pack, we get Jeremy Tulalan, and this pack, with all the squad builder challenge related content out there, is a good pack. We get 2 League Arm players, a Pro League, and a Liga NOS player, including Julio Cesar, which is useful as we need 2 Brazilians for Benfica. So that's one less player that I'm going to have to go out and buy. And again, the rest of this we're just going to send to the club, and I will deal with all the garbage later. And these 2 guys, again, onto the transfer list. You never know when I might need them for an upgrade or something. So it's useful just storing them and then selling them if I need to. But that concludes packs, and onto the second part of the video. We are having some gameplay in Division 8, and the first game we come up against is a back 5, and of course you think, oh great, they got their certain play style, it's going to be frustrating, they're going to just sit back and then try and spam those counter attacks. But to be fair, this was a good game, aside from the fact that this was just after EA had released the latest patch, which is terrible. It has changed the course of the game. And for the most part, I couldn't complete passes, but I did manage to string a few together there for Tolisso to slide in to give us the lead. And I was thinking, great, I can sort of get used to this. But myself in these 2 games, plus my 2 opponents, we both struggled for the most part. Like, you just could see an example there, that just wayward passes that going nowhere near your intended recipient, and it was frustrating, really. Like, I didn't know what to really do. Like, I guess I'm gonna have to slow down my build-up play a little bit more, maybe, just to take time to make sure I'm hitting passes. Because when I do hit my passes, as you're gonna see, I was just cutting this 5 at the back apart, and Asensio was going to thread it through for Benietta, who's going to slot that home with a tidy finish, and now it's 2-0 on a stroke of half time, and I'm thinking, great, like, we're moving along nicely, like, we're being clinical with our shots, and we're still dominating possession, but like, it was an even game, but it was gritty and just didn't have a flow to it because of all the missed tackles, the misplayed passes, and then straight from half time, he gets a shot here off the post and charging for the ball. He wins a penalty. It's a very soft penalty. Like, I don't know, it's not a penalty. He's eventually going to fiddle around with a couple of players. Like, he switched from Hernandez to Barca to finally Berardi. And she was also trying to get the arrow up, but eventually Berardi will step up and put it into the side netting to give him on the score sheet and back in the game, and it's 2-1, and I'm a little, I was hugely frustrated. This game was just, girlfriend's father was working from home today as well. So, and I was frustrated playing this, and he kind of heard a lot of my frustrations. In the second half, Reina comes up with some big saves that really should have put the game to bed. but because of him coming up with those saves, it kept him in this game, and it's gonna prove costly. But it's just it was crazy. Like one of us could keep the ball. Like it was just bouncing around. No one could make a pass, and if it did, like it would just go to the other guy and straight back. And I don't know. I wish EA wouldn't do that. There was nothing wrong in my eyes in the gameplay itself, but apparently they have changed it. And talking to people, they have come up and said that there are definite differences in gameplay, and we give up an equalizer last kick of the game, and the goals I concede in this episode are just so frustrating. Like they're just luck, bad luck on my behalf. Like I just don't know what to think about. Like when I was looking back at this footage, it was still frustrating for the most part. And then this game we come up against a rather mixed team that's lacking chemistry and whatnot. But these teams, you normally know, like they're going to be decent because they're in Division 8 now, and I tend to struggle against low chem teams. And from that build-up play, a lovely pass from Hesse, who then leads to a corner, which we score from, which is always nice to score from a corner. Though I'm still waiting to score from free kicks. But this guy, like, he was getting, like, his tackles were inch perfect every time. Like, he was stopping my through balls, and then that should have been a save. And I swear it was also, like, it must have been offside, but the goal stands, like, should have, like, kept that out. But here, Hesse doing a nice little bit of work. It sort of manages to keep the ball, but Tolisso just deflected wide, and I'm pretty sure that was going in. But at halftime again, like, it was a pretty even game, but like the way the gameplay was, though, it was frustrating to say the least. Like, not one of us could really like dominate, so to speak, and like impose a will compared to like this team. Last few episodes has just been stomping players, and it wasn't the case today. And I guess that it's easy to say that the patch has changed. Like they may not have mentioned any gameplay differences, but for the most part, there are differences in the gameplay. And I mean, when I did like manage to keep the ball, like I was able to create good chances. But again, like goalkeepers, huge saves. And I mean, I guess that's the story like from Courtois at the last episode where he had 17 saves, even though we did score 4 goals on him. But what was encouraging coming out of this game was the amount of chances I created from corners. Like I hit the post, I scored, I hit the post again. Like that's a pretty pleasing statistic for me. Like that's the one encouragement. But here, like just absolute nonsense in the box. Like failing to clear, like bad saves, like he just couldn't keep hold of the ball as if it was a bar of soap, so to speak. But from a corner from him, we're going to counter-attack with Ben Yedda. I finally draw him over, and Hesse is going to slot that past the on-rushing goalkeeper to give us the 2-1 lead. And I'm thinking, great, like we can go out and get 3 points, 4 points out of this episode would be fantastic. But he is going to come straight back and grab an equalizer. Like I lost 4 points out of this episode. Like that should have given me holding on to Division 8, and then I would just be 2 wins short of going up. But it was just garbage goals to give up, and instead, like we get 2 draws and leaves us 3 points short of holding on. But I had chances as well. But that's how it's going to end. I appreciate you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm the Fantasy Sports Wizard, and I shall see you all next time. Bye!